All right, good afternoon, everyone. So, yeah, we're gonna kind of start backwards again today. I have set this one this morning. We dried it and we combed it out. What this is it is a half circle in the front with your radial distribution. So I only have one point of origin where the rollers came off of. The sides were set, and this first one was an on base. These next two were half off base, and this last one in my circle was an off base. The rest of this was set at half off base with the sides going back on both sides. The back was flipped, the back is flipped up. So we're gonna kind of comb this out first, and then I will reset it and show you exactly how I put the rollers in. So instead of using the brush and going through this and brushing it all out, the first thing that I just want to do is run my fingers through it now. This is just a little bit of a different type of comb out. Just going to run my fingers through it, just to sort of relax this and brush it together a little bit more without using actual brush. And by doing that, you can kind of see how it just gives it, I mean, you can still see the roller lines, right? Where I ran my fingers through it, especially up in here, you can kind of still see where that roller is. So don't really want to put a lot of back combing in it, but I do want to put some just to blend it together a little bit. So what I'm going to do with that is take my comb with the pick on the end of it, and I'm going to start right in the back at the crown. And by doing that, I'm going to take, and I'll show you an example here. See how these two have just separated right here, and there's like a line. So I'm going to take a bit of each one of those to back comb together, just to kind of tie it together a little bit. Not going to put a lot in, just enough to kind of hold this together. And I'm just going to work my way around doing the exact same thing. Working my way down the hair, all the way in the back. Instead of back coming underneath it, I'm just going to do this on the surface because I don't need anything that's going to stay real heavily. I just need something that's going to kind of blend it all together. Now when I get to the front, because the way that these fringe area was set, I want to make sure that I tie all of this together. Need some hairspray. So remember, you gotta look at 365 degrees all the way around. If I look at it from the side like this, I'm like, oh, I see a hole right here. So just kind of want to fill that in. I don't want to see that hole. Bring it around. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Come over here, let's fill that hole in there. And then look at it from the front and say, oh yeah, I made a hole right there too. There we go. So when we're done, we have a little bit more volume. Where's it at? A little bit more volume, you know, up here on the side, going across, or up here on this side, going up on this side, going across the front. And then the back, instead of going under, it's been flipped up. So we have a little bit more curl. And then the sides were set here going back. So it just sort of gives us a little bit of a difference there. But that is another version of how you could set this up. So, you guys think y'all want to run out and do your hair like that? Okay, so anyone ever use hot rollers? Do you know what hot rollers are? Yeah, I see some shaking, yes, and I see some shaking, no. So hot rollers, they're just like a roller. Usually the metal or the middle is metal. And what we do with these is they have a heating element, and you just set the roller like right on top of the little prong that sticks up that's usually metal, and it just spits right on there like that, and it heats the whole thing up. Then you take it off and you roll it up real fast and clip it on the hair and let it cool. And it's just a different way of doing like a curling iron, but you're using rollers instead. So you can get a little bit tighter set like that. Those are kind of interesting. We'll play with those later on in the week. Get those out. So that's just an alternative to using the wet set rollers, is using the dry set rollers, with the hot rollers. There's all kinds of neat little gadgets out there that they have for setting hair and rolling hair that are rollers, but instead of being wet, it's done on dry hair. Remember the wet hairstyles? I mean, they're gonna last probably a little bit longer than the dry ones. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a couple of videos, just some different types of sets that you can actually do, and just give you some like different looks of things. And then we'll go on from there. Does anyone have any questions? No? No? No questions? Okay.
I do. With the hot rollers, do you usually wear like gloves when you put it in someone's hair?
Not really. It's usually has, well, I can't say it usually has some type of a Velcro. Sometimes they have like teeth on them, but you just can't, there's certain areas that you can touch. They're warm, but they're not like super hot like a curling iron would be, you know, when you go to roll that up. But there are certain areas that when you do touch, yeah, it's really, really hot. You know, I don't know if you used a wand and you see those little things you can put on your fingers to like hold the hair with the wand, or they have those heat gloves. You know, that's great for wands because, whew, yeah, those things get hot too. But not really with the hot rollers as much. Now, there's certain areas that if you do touch them, yeah, you're going to get burned because, you know, however hot they heat up to is what you're going to be feeling. But they were, okay, so, you know, I'm old, so I go back to the 80s because 80s and 90s, you know, hot rollers, 70s, 80s, and 90s, that was like the best thing ever, you know, is the hot rollers. So they're still around. I mean, you can still buy them. People still use them. So they're still out there. And, you know, every one of these tools works for what they claim it works for. I mean, you know, if you expect to have straight hair and you roll it up on rollers, it's never going to happen, right? So they all work. You just got to be realistic of what you're trying to achieve with that tool for it to work. So is there any other questions? Okay, so let me pull this up. Give me a second here, or maybe a minute, because, you know, sometimes it takes me longer. Wait
Wait, Miss Connie,
Yes.
I'm actually kind of curious. You know how they say like, oh, if you put it like while you're like straightening your hair, they like recommend putting a like glove on or something to like, you know, to protect yourself from the heat. Is it like because it burns or because it's like like why?
Because it's hot. Yeah. I mean, it's hot. So if you touch that, okay, so like some flat irons get to like 425 degrees, right? That's hot. So if you touch that with your skin, you're going to get burned. So with the gloves and stuff are to protect you so you can actually touch the hair. Because, you know, even touching hair after it's been flat ironed at 425 degrees, the hair itself is hot. You know, and when you're trying to use an appliance, okay, so let's just say you're not very good at using a curling iron or a flat iron, you know, till you get practice with it. And even when you become really good using a curling iron and a flat iron, sometimes you still like touch it and you burn yourself. So that's like what some of the gloves are just there to help you, just safety, just for safety.
Okay. Would you say that like over time, like the heat from like the iron or the wand causes like cancer or something?
I don't know about cancer, but I know that if you're not careful, it could burn your hair. I mean, it'll make your hair structurally weaker if you're not using, you know, if it's too hot or you're not using the right products with your hair. It can damage your hair. It can burn it. I mean, it can burn it. It's hot. It can burn your clothes. It can burn your skin. You know, so. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to cause you any illnesses or anything. That might be something that you'd have to ask a doctor. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Wait, no, dang it. That's always the one I go to, and that's not even the one I want. Okay. So now I'm talking to myself. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this one's done on someone's hair who's a little bit longer. Remember how we were doing like the rectangles with the straight? This is actually done on the sides in a circle, which is just a little bit different than doing it in the front. It will take a little bit more, you know, looking at what you're doing and maybe just practicing it just a few times to try to get this in correctly. But I do want to show you this video because I think it's just a little bit of a different alternative for doing roller sets. Share screen.
Expanded ovals are used to create gentle curved movement in a design, perfect for many clients with longer layered lengths. Finger styling creates a piecier look that retains the curl formation. This option is especially effective for clients with relaxed hair. Clients and designers both appreciate the longevity of the set and the finishing techniques. The off-the-face rectangle blends with the top movement of the ovals for a flattering design with the majority of the hair moving away from the face. The expanded oval technique, also referred to as the indirect technique, is used to set the sides. A A rectangle encompasses the top, and a bricklay pattern is used to set the remaining shape in the back. This design is set on increased layers that were sculpted using the planar technique in the interior. The art shows the sectioning and parting pattern used in this exercise. Expanded ovals are set on either side, using 1 diameter half-off base control throughout. A rectangle at the center top is also set using straight half-off base control. A bricklay pattern is used to set the remainder of the hair with diminished volume toward the nape. Mold and scale a rectangle from the front hairline approximately to the crown. Use the length of the roller and scale the length of the rectangle to equal 4 diameters of the roller. Mold a fast to slow counterclockwise expanded oval on the right side of the head. Then use the tail comb to scale the expanded oval shape in preparation for the indirect technique. Mold and scale a fast to slow clockwise expanded oval on the opposite side. Begin setting the rectangle-shaped section at the front hairline using a cylindrical roller. Measure and part a 1 diameter horizontal base. Project approximately 90 degrees from the center of the base, wrap the ends around the roller, and roll downward with even tension. Position the roller half off base and use a pick to secure. Use the same technique to set the remaining 3 rollers in the rectangle shape, positioning each roller half off base. The art shows the parting pattern that will be used to set the expanded ovals using the indirect technique with cone-shaped rollers. After the first roller is set, each new point of origin will be located at the front bottom corner of each previous roller. All rollers in this shape are set with 1 diameter half-off base control and 1 diameter from their various points of origin. Measure the first base using the diameter plus the length of the roller. Use half-off base control and position the roller 1 diameter from the point of origin. Secure at the small end of the cone-shaped roller. Measure the next base using the front bottom corner of the first roller as the point of origin. Use 1 diameter half-off base control, positioning the roller parallel to the parting. Use the same technique to set the next roller. Again, use the front bottom corner of the previous roller as the point of origin. Use the same technique with a larger diameter roller to complete the perimeter of the shape. Return to the original point of origin. Measure and part a 1 diameter base using the larger diameter roller. base control, positioning the roller parallel to the parting. Secure with a pick at the smaller end of the roller. Use the original point of origin and the same technique to set the last roller to complete the shape. Here we see the completed expanded oval. Note that the larger diameter rollers correspond to the longer lengths in the exterior. Use the same techniques to set the expanded oval on the opposite side. Begin at the point of origin and use the indirect technique. Complete the shape using the same techniques, setting each cone-shaped roller half off base. The art shows the horizontal bricklay pattern that will be used to set the remainder of the lengths in the back of the design using cylindrical rollers. Note that the rollers at either side of the nape hairline are set at angles to conform to the curves of the head and to blend with the movement of the expanded oval shapes. Set the first two rollers using the smaller diameter size with 1.5 diameter under-directed base control for diminished volume. Use the larger diameter roller and 1.5 diameter half-off base control to set the next row. Begin setting this row at the center, staggering the bases. Work from the center to either side to complete this row using the same technique. Set the last row using 1.5 diameter off-base control. Stagger the bases and set each of the rollers on the sides at an angle. The bricklay pattern in the back of the design creates neutral direction with diminishing volume toward the nape. Allow the hair to dry and cool completely before removing the rollers. Rub a silicone-based shine product between your hands and use your fingers to rake through the hair to relax the set for a loose tousled effect. Do not comb or brush the hair at this point. The finish shows loose curls with a flattering movement off the face in the interior. Depending on the client's wishes, the expanded oval movement can be more or less apparent in the finished design. You may choose to relax the set more fully and backcomb slightly to blend the bases. Clients can create similar styling options as the set relaxes.
So that is just a different way to actually do some roller sets. You can do a lot of different ways when you're putting the rollers in the hair. There's endless possibilities. Just whatever you could think of, you can actually do it. So, oh, sorry. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to do some rolling here. Oh shoot, sorry, forgot to fill this up with water. I'll be right back. That's the kind of thing you don't want to do when you have a client. You want to make sure you have this. And I had it sitting right there too to go do it, and I totally forgot. Okay, so week goes by. She comes back in. She wants to get her hair shampooed, get it re-rolled. So you gotta figure after a week, you know, or after a few days wearing this, or however long she's had it, she's gonna have like, it's not gonna look the same, like freshly done, right? Because she's slept or whatever she's done. So before I go back to the shampoo bowl and I'm gonna shampoo this, I wanna make sure that it's totally detangled. So I'm just gonna start at the bottom and just brush this out. If I don't have it detangled, then I'm gonna end up with a big, like as soon as the water hits it and the tangle's there, I'm just gonna end up with this big knot. It's gonna be painful to get out and it's gonna be really hard to get out. But remember, it might not be so easy to brush either because there's gonna be hairspray, gel, whatever else was in there that you used or that she used at home, you know, anything like that that we wanna make sure we're gonna be working on to get rid of it before we put water on it. So just brush it out. Okay, so now I'd say, okay, let's go back and get you shampooed. So even by the way that you brush this, you could actually do different looks too, you know, just by brushing it a different way or styling it a different way. You could get some different looks going on. So we're gonna go today in the front with a half circle and our single point of origin. So I'm just gonna, this is my shampoo. I was looking at some of the pictures that you all sent in yesterday. Those of you that sent it in, good job. Those of you that did not send in a picture, get on it, get it done. Okay, so I have my girl here. And what I want to do for this half circle now is make sure that I have, I should have brushed it out a little bit better. I say that every time. And I think I have it brushed out good, and you get it wet, and it just doesn't brush out the way you want it to. Okay, so I'm going to go about the middle of the pupil, and this is going to be my part. I'm going to use my roller for a measuring tool. And as I place this right here on the part, I'm going to come behind it and I'm just going to do a little circle over to where my recession line is on this side. So this is my scaling here, to where I just sort of have this half circle here. Okay. Can you see I have the round back here? So that's my circle. And it's the same length as my rollers are going to be placed in all the way across. So I know that that's going to work. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm using all the same point of origin. I remember I would have gel or something in her hair instead of just water, but right now I just have water. So my first one is going to be off base so that I can get that nice lift there that I'm looking for. So as I come in and put this down, I'm going to come right here on this point of origin, diagonal that back just a little bit. That's a little bit too much, I think. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, come on. Missing pieces of hair. I don't like the way that looks. Let me try that again. Okay, so this is gonna go on base. So right, remember it's 45 degrees away from me. So this next one's gonna come right from the same parting at 90 degrees. So now I have a half off base. So now from this same parting again, come to this next one. "90 degrees again. And then my last one is going to be at 45 degrees away from me. So this is going to be my off base. So now I have my little half circle coming around there in the front. So now when I come back here to my apex area, I'm going to do all of this at a half off base. The rest of this is going to be half off base. The rest of this whole set will be half off base, 90 degrees. So I'm going to get this shampooed here. Using my tool to measure. Just to the crown, remember, I'm only going to the crown right here. One times my diameter. half off base, which is 90 degrees. The second one the same way. And on my crown, I want to do the same thing. That last one, 90 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to come to this side where I'm on the lighter side of my part. And I want to just do the sides. So just to right behind the ear. This is all I want to do right here for right now. I'm going to place these on a vertical, which is also known sometimes as a candlestick. So if I take my tool out now to measure this, and I'm coming down the head, I may have to put 2 because it's just not quite going to be large enough or small enough for just 1. So as I come in with my tool to do my parting, and I measure this out, I definitely need 2. So I'm going to go with a smaller shorter one here and a longer one on the bottom in these 2 areas right here. So as I'm doing that, my length is going to be about right here for this one. So this is going to be combed straight out at 90 degrees. I'm going to roll that right down on there. Back of the ear here. Now back here at the top, I'm going to be actually putting another shorter one in here. So my length for that is going to be right here. And my width will be it's actually a little wide, so I'll just adjust that out. And so it's a little wide. So I could put 2 here. Now when I move down here, fill this in here with a large one. And this is only going to take 2. Oh, that didn't stand very well.
Either I'm hella dumb or I don't know what to do that.
No. It just all goes out there on the top. Dang it. I'll have to go back and put it back in. Okay, so I combed this out, 2 of them actually, like a dummy. So I'll just go back and put it back in. You know, I'm just fighting with that. I'm gonna just change that whole thing right there instead of fighting with it. I'm just gonna put this going, that one should probably stay there. Let's see, I'm just gonna change this because I don't like the way it's coming out. And it's not gonna look right because the rollers are gonna have like spaces and gaps in between them, which is gonna make this look like we have a space there that we're gonna have to fight with. So what I'm gonna do is come up here on the top and take this first one. And roll this down. So that's gonna fill in my top portion for me. Then as I come here, yeah, that's gonna look better. As I come here on the sides, I'm gonna take this first one here that's like almost in the recession area, and I'm gonna roll this one back. I think this is gonna fill in a little bit better, so I don't have spaces in between there. So now here, I can roll this back. And it's gonna lay more vertical on the head, so I don't end up with some gaps like I was trying to avoid in the first place. There we go, that's better. So I can put 2 here, 1 on the front and then 1 back here, and then I'll have that whole area taken care of. So much better. Okay. So just put a clippers to reinforce that because it looked like it was kind of falling out. I just wanted to reinforce that. So now when I get to this side, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to place one here. Off base on that one. Vertical, going back. Ah, because I knocked that one out. Great. And then another vertical on this side.
Miss Connie, I have a question.
Okay.
So when would you use the smaller rollers? Is that like in between the big rollers, or where would you use them?
In the shorter ones, any spot that the large ones will not fit. So, you know, the heads are all shaped differently, right? So as you're putting them in, any place that you come to where the larger ones won't fit. So, see, I still don't like the way this looks. Let's just redo this whole thing because it's driving me crazy. And I'm trying to get perfectionist like that. I will do it like 5 times till I figure out that I like it. Okay, so see like right here, if I'm looking at her hairline, right here, as I look at this, you know, it kind of has that little curvature that goes in, right? But if I'm trying to put a whole set of rollers in here, and I know I only have this side to do it on, if I just do this vertical straight down, I'm not gonna have any hair here because the hairline's here, but I have this piece of hair right here. So this is where I would put a shorter one in because a larger one's not gonna fit in this little piece of hair. So you just kind of work with the hairline, you know, just with whatever you have. If the head is shaped where you have a larger one or a smaller one's not gonna, or a larger one's not gonna fit, then that's where you're gonna put one of these shorter ones in. Maybe at the bottom where you end up with a piece, you know, that the hair doesn't fit. That's where you're gonna put it at. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 large ones right here. I think this is going to fill in this area a lot better. So here's a longer one. Get in there. Oh my gosh, roll around there, please. There we go. Because we want them to kind of look the same on both sides, right? We want the rollers to be setting the same on both sides because you don't want one side to look totally different than the other one when you're done. So that's the whole, you know, idea of me taking this down or redoing it, taking it down or redoing it. It's because I'm trying to get it exactly to sit on the head, just like it does on the other side. And sometimes you gotta redo it to get it to do that because it doesn't always work. And this is one of those times. Okay, that looks so much better to me. Because when I'm looking at the sides here, even though I have one here, but I gotta remember my part's right here too. So it's a little bit different on that side. But when I look above the ear right here, I wanna make sure that these are kind of at the same angle. And look at the front, even though the bang is coming over here, this needs to fill that in, so I need to bring that back. And then this area right here is just gonna go with my bang area, the one right behind it. So all of that now is, okay, now it makes me happy when I look at it. I can say like, okay, that looks better. And then from the back, and I'm looking at it from the back, these two sides right here are looking sort of even now too than it did from the front. So that's what makes the difference for me. Because I know in the end, when it's dry, it's gonna be similar on both sides. Okay, so it's almost 3, it's 2:58. So let's go ahead and take our break. And, oh, I see some other people joined us. Do we have class on Monday? No, we don't, it's a holiday. So let's see. Christian, I just saw you. There you go. You got in. And who else did I not get? I have Amanda. Picture that you send in is on a roller set. You look for anything that you could probably figure out or some type of set, looking at that, thinking, what is the base controls that they use? Do they use like an on base, an off base? Just look at a picture and try to analyze it. You know, that's all we're asking. Just get used to looking at it and trying to figure out exactly what was done to it. Sometimes you never figure it out because you don't know what they've used. Other times you can guess, you know, and that's what I want you to do is just look at a picture and just try to analyze it. Like, okay, that top has a lot of volume, so probably they use a on base. Oh, that bottom looks like that volume is a little bit more diminished from the top, so that's probably an off base, you know, and just kind of just guess. That's what I want you to do. Just get used to looking at pictures and analyzing them and trying to figure out what they've done. The ones I saw, you know, those are some really good guesses, so good job. So let's go ahead and take our break. It's 3. I'll see you guys back here at 3:10. Okay, we're back. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this set here. Get ready to do the back. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of roll maybe one row under, and then the rest of this is going to be flipped up to give us a whole different type of look there. So let's spray this down. Using my tool here for the length. So it's about right here. We're still on a half off base at 90 degrees. Now I'm just going to work horizontally around the back of the head. So somebody was asking me earlier, you know, where do you use the shorter rods? Well, this is one of the places, those shorter rollers. This is one of the places right here. I have this really awkward spot right here that a large roller won't fit, but I have to fill this in right here. So this is where one of the shorter rods will work best, or shorter rollers. I always say big and small, but they're really long and short. So now I'm gonna get ready to do my next row. So again, I want to take my tool and measure out just how much hair I need. And I'm getting ready to roll upwards. So as I bring this in now, I'm going to roll it up this way. Using the same row, I'm just going to come across and do the same thing. Remember, the rest of this is all on a half off base at 90 degrees so that I can keep the same amount of fullness all the way around. So just continuing with my gorgeous, he said. Here. And then I'm gonna use my tool again to measure this row. And then when I get down to the bottom, just because the underneath of this hair is cut shorter, I'm gonna have to use a smaller roller. So as I come back the opposite way, I'm just gonna measure how much hair I need. And roll this in an upward motion again. One more over here. And then down here on the bottom, since this is shorter, like I said, I'm going to be using a smaller roller. And I'm going to put an end wrap in that just because I know it's a little bit harder to get this rolled up. So I'm going to use this end wrap to roll it. So once this dries, it's the one that we combed out earlier. So it's the exact same one, but I gotta comb it out tomorrow for the morning class. So, voila. Finished wrap or finished roll here. Going back on the sides, up in the back, and down to the other side. So put this one off and let it dry. So this, do you recognize this? Does anyone recognize this lovely pearl here that we've used before?
Is that one Michelle?
Is it not?
Yeah, they have names like in the back, like in their neck. Some of them do.
Okay, so this was a perm, one of the perms that we wrapped, one of the last perms that we wrapped. So any ideas on how to comb this thing out? Anyone have any ideas? Would we brush it? Would we pick it? What do we do with this thing? So I'm gonna kind of just pick this and see what it looks like. This is like a little spiral thing here on the front. This is a real interesting kind of comb. It has these things with like this pick on the end of it. I'm not quite sure what all you're supposed to use it for, but I guess whatever you can get it to work for. I kind of loosen this up a little bit by combing through it some. I don't know. Who would wear that? Got any hands on who would wear that style? And like, not me. Everyone's like, no way, not me. Yeah, I'm not into wearing it right now either. Okay, so there's also a few other things that we're gonna have to do, like pen curls. So let me show you a couple more videos that incorporate the rollers with the pen curls. And we will watch a couple more videos and then, okay, what happened? Here we go. Get these up for you.
Curvature and straight volume combine with a diagonal forward graduated form to create a classic design with fluid movements. The complete roller and pin curl set features a counterclockwise half circle at the front, expanded circles at the sides, and a bricklay pattern in the back. Notice that the set progresses from the large diameter rollers at the top to medium diameter rollers in the back and small diameter rollers and pin curls at the sides and in the nape area. The finish shows a voluminous shape with structured curved lines that flow into activated perimeter end texture. The structure graphic shows the diagonal forward graduated form used for this roller and pin curl design. The art shows a counterclockwise half circle in the fringe area, set with large diameter rollers. The expanded circles on the sides progress from small diameter rollers in the inner circle to medium diameter rollers in the outer circle. The bricklay pattern in the back is set with medium diameter rollers, and small pin curls are used in the nape area to accommodate the short lengths. Apply styling gel evenly through clean, wet hair. Distribute, mold, and scale a counterclockwise half circle with the point of origin at the center front hairline. Secure the ends in a flat circular shape. Distribute, mold, and scale an expanded circle on the right side. Secure the ends and repeat the same techniques on the left side. In the back, mold the remaining lengths straight down and secure under. The art shows the half circle set with 1 diameter on base, 1.5 diameter under directed, 1 diameter half off, and 1 diameter off base control. Position each roller parallel to its parting and 1 diameter away from the point of origin. Part and apply the first large diameter cone-shaped roller using 1 diameter on base control and secure through the small end of the roller. Part and apply the second roller with 1.5 diameter under-directed base control, and the third roller with 1 diameter half-off base control. Apply the final roller with 1 diameter off base control. The inner circle has triangle-shaped bases, while the outer circle has trapezoid-shaped bases created from the same point of origin. The inner circle rollers are positioned 1 diameter away from the point of origin, and the trapezoid-shaped bases are equal to the length of the roller. All rollers are positioned parallel to the parting. Beginning at the inner circle on one side, part and apply the first small diameter conical roller with 1 diameter half-off base control. apply the second roller of the inner circle using the same technique. Use the inner circle's point of origin to create the trapezoid-shaped bases of the outer circle. The outer circle is set on medium diameter conical rollers using 1 diameter half-off base control. Set the last 2 partings with volume pin curls. Observe the expanded circle roller and pin curl portion of the set. Move to the other side and set the inner circle with the small diameter conical rollers using 1 diameter half-off base control. Then set the outer circle with medium diameter conical rollers and use 1 diameter half-off base control. Complete the outer circle with pin curls. The art shows how the bricklay pattern is used to fill the remaining section in the back. Medium diameter cylindrical rollers will be used with a progression to small pin curls in the nape area. Begin at the top of the back section using the 1-2 bricklay method. Part and apply the first medium diameter roller with 1 diameter on base control. Position the roller within its base and secure. Part and apply the next row using 1 diameter on base control and 2 shorter rollers. In the third row, use 1 diameter half-off base control. Adapt the roller lengths to fit the area and stagger the base partings. The roller set portion of the design is complete. The last 2 rows will be set with volume pin curls. Continue to use the bricklay pattern with 1 diameter half-off base control to set 3 pin curls across the next row. The diameter corresponds to the small diameter roller. Secure with volume and complete the row. Complete the last row using the same 1 diameter half-off base technique. Continue to stagger the bases to avoid splits. The completed set features curvature volume in the front and on each side with straight volume in the back. After the hair has dried and cooled, relax the set with 2 cushion brushes, working upward from the nape to the sides and then the top. Then, dry mold by retracing the design directions. Use a 1-stroke technique and begin back brushing the half circle, following the direction in which it was set. Use the same technique to backbrush the expanded circle in the direction of the set on either side. Continue to the back using the one-stroke backbrushing technique throughout the design. Define the form by following the pattern that was set and smooth the surface. Then, use a wide tooth comb to add surface texture and definition. The finish shows curvature volume half off the face and half toward the face, blending to straight volume in the back, with perimeter texture creating this classic style.
Looks better on the person, right? Than that doll. Okay, so just some alternatives of things that you can do. So send in another picture today, analyze it. Look at the pictures, analyze the roller set or the curl, try to figure out, you know, what type of base control, what was it, a large tool, a small tool? Do you think it went towards the face, away from the face? You know, was it straight? Did it have multiple points of origin? Like all the things that we've been going over, just find a picture and analyze it and send us the picture with your results. Right?
Sure.
I'm gonna analyze his hair. Put your head down here. He needs something badly. I don't know what.
What do I need?
A longer little ponytail thing.
Don't make fun of my little nub.
The thing looks like one of the Flintstones.
Shut up.
Yeah. So you guys got that? What we're gonna do today for the assignments? We have all that down, right? Yeah. Shake your
Miss
head.
Connie, sorry, I was on a phone call like a second ago. What was the homework?
It's to find another picture, analyze it, and send us in your findings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Was it just like we did yesterday?
Yeah, try to go a little bit more with your analyzation though of from what you did yesterday. From what I saw was really good, but let's try to figure out which direction it was sent. Do you think it was rolled down? Do you think it was rolled back? Do you think it was rolled up? Do you think it was a multitude of different sizes of tools, or do you think the tools were just like all the same size, along with the base controls? Yesterday we just kind of worked on base controls. Let's go a little bit more. Let's try to figure out, which direction it's going and things like that. Okay, so we can get used to like analyzing pictures. If a client was to bring that in, could you do it? Or would you just be guessing? Because, a lot of times it is guesswork, but, we want to try to duplicate a picture that a client's going to bring in. So let's try to go a little bit more in depth in our analyzation. There's no wrong answer, so don't think you're going to get it wrong, because you're not. There's no wrong answers here. Let's just see what we can observe. Okay?
Can we use the same picture? Or did you want us to find a different one?
I'd like you to find a different picture, but yeah, you can do the same picture, but I'd like a different one. Okay.
So we're just finding like any picture on the internet, and we're gonna say like the size of the curl that we think they use, like which direction and which part of the head.
Yeah, so like if you think the front was like off to the side and rolled over to the side using, say, maybe an on base curl, or maybe the back was like all off base curl in a larger one, a larger curl, larger roller than the top, say.
Or like tighter,
yeah, smaller, tighter, whatever it is, just analyze it, to your opinion there the best you can, and just text us in the answer.
Thank you very much. So we text the school number, correct?
Mm-hmm. The 526-2040 number. Yeah, just screenshot or write what you think it is and just text it in. Let's try a little bit more in depth than yesterday. Okay, that way we get used to analyzing pictures and seeing, looking at things and seeing what we can think it is. I just have this. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, so we will see you tomorrow. I look forward to pictures. Yesterday were good.
Miss Connie,
Yeah.
what was the homework for electricity? The 1 to 2 class?
Oh, it was to look up either Tesla or galvanic and find a fact that we didn't go over, something that you find really interesting, and just text it into us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.